SpaceX is constantly in charge of employing cutting-edge technology to develop machinery, engines, and equipment that will make space travel and tourism more reliable. The company has decided not to adopt the norm, that is, the spacesuit. Other space companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin have used huge, heavy, and pressurized spacesuits. But SpaceX decided to go against the trend and create something incredibly sleek and portable. The new SpaceX suit has been rumored to be quite seductive, especially on a female astronaut. Hence, SpaceX is simply trying to adapt 21st century technology. In today's video, we'll cover all you need to know about SpaceX's new sleek spacesuit and how it'll be used in the Crew Dragon rocket for improved relaxing and navigation. This is Tech Space. If you're new here, we specially invite you to join many of our lovely fans. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. It motivates us to produce more fantastic content like this, and you'll have a lifetime access to all of our high-end tech videos. First things first, let's explain the rudiments of a spacesuit. A spacesuit is a garment worn to keep someone alive in the harsh environment of outer space, vacuum, and temperature extremes. Spacesuits are frequently worn within spacecraft as a safety measure in case of cabin pressure loss and are required for extravehicular activity or work performed outside of the spacecraft. Now that you understand the basic function of a spacesuit, the question that remains is, how is SpaceX able to design their spacesuit so thin, sleek, and sexy, while NASA's spacesuit is large and... To address this, we must first realize that the suits built by SpaceX are pressure suits that astronauts would wear while flying inside the Crew Dragon. They are largely required in the event of an emergency during flight. If the spaceship unexpectedly depressurizes, the suits will keep the astronauts alive until they can reach safety. They are pressure suits designed for use inside of the Crew Dragon, similar to what astronauts wore during launch and re-entry on the Space Shuttle. The suits aren't intended for spacewalks or moonwalks. It's no surprise, given that the prototype spacesuit was made by Jose Fernandez, a costume designer who has worked on Batman vs. Spider-Man, The Fantastic Four, The Avengers, The X-Men 2, and, well, you get the point. That guy is a badass fashion designer. There are folks around Hollywood who are skilled designers who did a fantastic job on the suit. They are excellent spacesuit helmet designers. Mr. Bay said of his Armageddon experience, "It's a highly specialized trade." Musk simply recruited Jose Fernandez instead of the typical Air Force and Navy contractors. In 2016, when Fernandez was consulted for the first time by SpaceX, he merely told Bleep magazine that he had no idea what SpaceX is. In his words, "I didn't know what SpaceX was." Mr. Fernandez was one of 6 people invited to try out for the position, and he designed a helmet. He planned to work on the project for 2 weeks, but ended up working with Musk for 6 months to build the suit, which was eventually reverse engineered to fulfill space flight criteria. Elon's intention was for Fernandez to perform a fantastic job that would give everyone who wears it an attractive look. In fact, he stated that the aim was for astronauts to put on their suit and appear better than they did without it. Darker strips along the sides optically tapered and shape the torso, squared-off shoulder lines, aerodynamic seams from collarbone to knee, and matching knee superhero boots are all the features of the new SpaceX suits. They lacked the standard costumes' hanging hoses, knobs, and wires like the one designed by NASA. They are created this way because they are not designed for usage outside the spacecraft and hence do not require what Mr. Lewis refers to as personal spaceships with an oxygen supply, cooling system, and communications capabilities. Moreover, unlike most previous suits, which were meant to be comfortable for an astronaut while strapped into a couch, and hence frequently seemed baggy and hunched back while vertical, the SpaceX suits look as well standing up as they do recline. They also meet the many and severe technical requirements of a fully functional suit. A spacesuit is a piece of material that must connect to the spacecraft, not simply match its color. That is what distinguishes the suits as an Elon Musk production. Now consider the differences between the NASA spacesuit and the SpaceX's new sexy spacesuit. The orange pumpkin suit shown in so much launch film is NASA's version of Starman's suit. The Advanced Crew Escape Spacesuit System is the official name for it, ACES. Aside from pressurization, a fully equipped ACES includes an emergency breathing system, liquid cooling system, automatic inflation parachute, and even emergency drinking water rations. The astronauts on NASA's Artemis missions, which will bring the first woman and person of color to the moon, will use the newest spacesuit, known as the Exploration Extravehicular Mobility Unit, or XEMU. Parts of the spacesuits will be tested on the International Space Station before they are sent to the moon. The cooling garment is one of the primary components, according to Richard Rhodes, NASA's deputy lead for XEMU's pressure garment development. The suit is made up of tubes that circulate water around the astronaut, controlling body temperature and eliminating excess heat as they work. According to NASA, each spacesuit contains a portable life support system that comprises a water tank for the cooling garment, a carbon dioxide removal system, and other features. This component also contains a two-way radio system for the astronauts to communicate with one another. When astronauts train to travel to space, one of their training activities is to pick up an object while underwater in their spacesuit. When operating in space, these explorers require exceptional dexterity, and the gloves add to the difficulty. Colored bands on the exterior of the spacesuit are unique to each suit. This is how astronauts can recognize who is in each suit when carrying out any activity in the outer space. Fortunately, spacesuits have come a long way. They have advanced features that makes it more flexible. Some of these features include the gloves. The gloves are one of the most complex parts of the spacesuit, and they are typically the source of the most complaints from astronauts about their suits, according to Lewis, NASA's female astronaut. It's incredibly difficult to build gloves that are both safe and provide the physical dexterity that astronauts require to accomplish meaningful work. According to Lewis, the pressurized gloves may feel stiff, especially after hours of labor in space. Because their fingers get cold, heating devices must be put into the gloves. Lewis instructed. A large portion of an astronaut's spacesuit training takes place in a pool at NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory in Houston. The water replicates weightlessness similar to how it feels in space, and the suit may be worn in any region of outer space. And trust me, SpaceX hasn't disclosed if their gorgeous sleek suits serve all of these functions, though Elon made it clear that the new suit can only be utilized in the Crew Dragon rocket that is just within the rocket and not in the surrounding space. So unlike NASA's cumbersome and large spacesuit that can be worn both inside and outside of the spacecraft, SpaceX's spacesuit will only be in use within the spacecraft. Hope you know the difference between the spacesuit made by both companies. A spacesuit must perform a number of activities and meet a number of standards in order for its users to work safely and comfortably within or outside of a spaceship. Let's take a look at the primary requirement: internal pressure that remains constant. As there is usually no requirement for the spacesuit to contain nitrogen, this might be less than Earth's atmosphere. Low pressure allows for better movement, but it's necessary that the suit occupant breathe pure oxygen for a period of time prior to entering this lower pressure to avoid decompression sickness. Mobility. The pressure of the suit normally opposes movement. Mobility is provided by precise joint design. The interchange of these gases with the spacecraft or a portable life support system provides breathing oxygen and eliminates carbon dioxide. Temperature control. Unlike on Earth, where heat may be transmitted into the atmosphere by convection, heat can only be lost in space via thermal radiation or conduction to things in direct contact with the suit's exterior. Because the temperature on the suit's exterior fluctuates considerably between sunlight and darkness, if the suit is going to be used in space, it should be well insulated and the air temperature should be kept at a comfortable level. A communication system having an external electrical connection to the spacecraft, also known as PLSS, collection and disposal of solid and liquid body waste, such as a maximum absorbency garment. Do you have any knowledge about how SpaceX or NASA spacesuit is operated in space? Please do well to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, please like, share, subscribe, and while you're still around, why don't you click on one of the two videos flashing on your screen for more content?